Hi guys, welcome to Blazing Ray. So in this video we are doing lists. So you can see over here, a list is just a long list that you write, like for example, 1, 2, and 3. So lists are very simple. So they store data. So like for example, you have a bunch of numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you want to store them, you use a list. I mean, there are like a bunch of other things like tuples, dictionaries, but like a list, you can. So I'm teaching a list. So lists they can be changeable. By what I mean is, for example, you have 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you don't want the 0 at the beginning, so you can remove that 0. And some data storage types like tuples and those stuff that you can't do that. You can't remove stuff. So a list, you can remove things, you can change things in it, and they can be sorted, added, and so on. So like you can sort them, you can add two lists together, you can do a bunch of things. You can store anything from numbers. You can store like numbers, booleans, floats, and like a bunch of other stuff like strings. And it can have an endless amount. Like there's no max to what can you put. They are ordered. So what I mean by ordered is that like for example, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. When you print it, so when you print the list, so when you print it comes as 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So that's a good thing, right? It can also allow duplicate items. Like for example, you have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It can allow that. And a list uses square brackets. So like square brackets are this button. And then you can see, right? This is how a list is. So let's take a look at that in VS Studio. So if you can see here, so I wonder why there's so many ones. Let's see what it is. A long thing. Let's see what it is.
2,000 years later.
Okay, so finally. There. Now it ends. Wait, the three dots mean that it still goes on forever. Still goes on. Oh no, not again. Bro. Okay. So let's ignore that. Okay, let's see. If I click on this, uh let's see. 8. Okay. So let's see how many there is. 10,001. You can see here, bro. Oh my god, that is a lot. So all you need to do was list part 1. So there are two parts. So in part 2 we'll go deeper. So part 1 is just on the top. So you can see here, this is a simple list. The list is equal to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So the list dot append. So the append function, it adds on. So it adds at the end. So like for example, what if you want 70? You want to append 70 like it shows here, right? So add at the end of the list. So then it will become comma 70 like that. So if we run it, you can see here, oops. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. So 70 was appended. So that means it was added on the back. Now, so over here, you can see. So insert means add. So if you know string slicing a little bit, I mean like, yeah, so the list, so it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 again. So if you want to add 35, so so this number over here is 3. So this means the place 3. So like I said, right, 10 is 0. So each place has imaginary, like if I do 1 minute, so you can see this 10 is 0, and then 20 is 1, 30 is 2, 40 is 3, 50 is 4, and 60 is 5, right? So where is 3? It's at 40. It's at a 40, right? So if we write 3 there, then it will add before. So that means it's at 30. So it's between 30 and 40. So if we had 35, let's quickly run it. You can see here, right? Oh, fine. 10, 20, 30, 40. No, 10, 20, 30. And then 35 comes here. And then there's 40, 50, 60. So you can use the insert function, and that is a good one. And then, so lists are very simple. So they can contain a bunch of stuff, like, for example, true. They can even use what do you call floats, like 2.30456789. Like they can use floats, they can do anything. And now if we come to this question, so the pop function, if we hover over it, you can see, so list.pop index, so remove and return item at index default last. So for example, like we didn't write anything in these brackets, right? These parentheses. So that's why it will always delete the last thing. Pop means it will by default delete the last thing. And if we write it, like for example 3, if you guys know what 3 is, so 10, 20, so 10 is 0, 20 is 1, 2.34569 is 2, and true, this is 3. So that means it will delete this, it will delete true. If it will raise an error, so it'll say an error if the list is empty, like there's nothing in here, or like for example you write 1,000 1,000,000 trillion gazillion, then it will raise an error because like it doesn't know where it is though, so that's why there's no specific index. That's why. So if we run it, you can see here, right? 10, 20, 30, true, 50. But in the normal list, there used to be 60. There was 60, but now there's no 60. So that's what it does. And over here, you can see here, right? So the list, so 10, 20, 30, 100, and 40, 50, 60. So the list dot remove. So it will remove 100. So because 100 is somewhere randomly placed in the middle, because so we told it to remove, so that was why it will remove. If you erase, so you can see here, remove first occurrence of value. Like for example, if we write a huge number like 1,000 1,000,000,000 gazillion, so you see there's no such number in this list, right? There's not a number, so it will create an error saying like, why I don't see it there. So yeah. And if we run it, you can see it here, right? There in the normal list, it should be 10, 20, 30, 100, 40, 50, 60. But in this one, it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, so moving on. So you can do the sum, max, and min. So 10 and 20, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So the sum of the list, so if we just run it, you can see here, 10 plus 20 plus 30 plus 40 plus 50 plus 60 is equal to 210. So yeah, it's add all the list. It's add everything. It adds everything, the first one. And then the max means what is the biggest? What is the biggest value? So of course, right, 60 is the biggest value in this list. So that's why. And minimum, so like this is maximum, this is minimum. So what is the smallest thing in this list? Which is 10, of course, right? So you can see here, all of these is written. So if we go here, so reverse the list. So we can reverse the list. Oops. So like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So if we enter it, you can see here everything is reversed. 60, 50, 40, 30, 10, 20, 10. And then we sort the list. So like 60, 50, 80, 90, 40. So there's some random order, right? So we can even sort the list from least to greatest. So if we run it, you can see here 40, 50, 60, 80, 90. So ta-da! Everything is sorted in the pop. So now let's look at another case of pop. So if we run it, you can see here, right? So look at all of these numbers. So it will pop the number -1. So that means it will pop the last number. So -1 stands for all the way back here, the last digit. So like if it was -2, then it would stand for 5. Then -1 is 4. If you wrote a value here, -1. So it will delete the last one because like -1 in the string index is all the way at the last. Not just the strings too, but like it's also you can like list slicing too. So it will if it will delete this. So that's why only there's no 4 at the end here when we run it. So if we don't put anything, so it will remove the last one. But if we add something like -1 or for example 0, right? In 0, you might think it's nothing, but it's not. So 0 actually has a value still. It's 3. It's the first thing is always 0. So that's why it will delete the first thing. So if we run it again, you can see here, right? There's no 3 at the beginning. So we can even clear the list. So this is the last one. Oops, sorry. So if you can see here, so 50, 20, 60, 80, 40. So if we clear it, so most functions have these parentheses in the end. So that's why. And if you can see here, right? We printed the list, right? But there's nothing in here, probably because we cleared it. So if we cleared, we just empty out everything. So this is it for part 1. So this is the easy part, but part 2 will be a bit challenging too because it will have for loops, while loops, and a bunch of stuff. So I hope you like this video and see you in the next video, lists part 2. Bye.